Can you say water, water, water? Give me water. Water and sugar. Water and sugar. Get sugar, sugar.
There was a scare in the Senate earlier today when the ministerial nominee from Kaduna State, Abbas Balarabe, unexpectedly slumped during a screening for confirmation as minister. This forced the senators to go into a closed-door meeting. Well, they returned with an explanation that the Kaduna State nominee collapsed because he was fasting and clearly exhausted. Welcome everyone to Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. Let's discuss latest happenings in the Senate. You can join the conversation right now on X, formerly Twitter, if you use the hashtag Beyond 100 Days. Remember to tag at TVC News NG. Jamila Ibrahim from Kwara, Abbas Balarabe from Kaduna, and Ayodele Olawande from Ondo are the latest addition to the 45 approved ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria confirmed by the Red Chamber in August. The Kaduna nominee, who replaced former Governor Nasir El-Rufai, was unable to continue answering questions from lawmakers due to his loss of consciousness. But the Senate acknowledged his rich resume and went on to confirm him. Are the lawmakers right on this one? We'll find out later on the show when we speak with some lawmakers on Beyond 100 Days. Now, let's tell you about your new ministers. Jamila Ibrahim is from Kwara, and she's 37 years old, a medical doctor, politician, development practitioner, political career, a member of the APC, and also she's the national president of the APC Women Forum before this appointment. Balarabe Lawal, the nominee who slumped earlier, is from Kaduna State. He's 65 years old, and he's replacing the former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, who did not pass the test. He's an educationist, a political scientist, real estate and property management. Perhaps I think he was the SSG under the Nasir El-Rufai's administration. Indeed, an SA Federal Minister of Education between 2001 and 2003. He was also SA Minister of State Army at the Ministry of Defense, Chief of Staff to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory between 2003 and 2007. Ayodele Olawande is from Ondo State, 34 years old, Minister of Youth for State, a politician, strategic communication officer, educator, political career assistant to SA on innovation to vice president. That was between 2019 and 2023. He was also youth coordinator for the APC Lagos chapter and APC youth leader right to the time he was appointed as a Minister of State for Youth. He was also Deputy, or rather Department Director of the Presidential Campaign Youth Council Southwest in the just concluded general election. So yesterday, that was Tuesday, the Nigeria Senate amended its standing orders to effect changes on the conditions that qualify a senator to vie for the office of the President of the Senate. According to the amendment of Standing Rule 3, Section 3, Subsection 2, a senator vying for the seat of Senate President now must have served at least one term in the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The upper legislative chamber also amended its rules to clearly define the functions and jurisdictions of new standing committees created in August. Let's talk more about happenings in the Red Chamber. I'm joined by Senator Sumaila, who is senator representing the Kano South Senatorial District. Thank you for joining us on the program, distinguished.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, so you and your colleagues had confirmed 3 more ministers today. Would you say you're impressed by these individuals?
Well, actually, I'm impressed and I support their clearance, more especially the guy from Kaduna. When you view into his resume and his past, you will find out that he's capable, has the capacity, has everything to deliver. I am highly impressed with his selection. And the 2 young men, it shows a commitment and demonstration of current president of giving chance to our younger generation to bring, to come closer to us to see how they will bring their own ideas to the governance. I am 100% pleased with the process and the selection.
So you went ahead to confirm the Kaduna State nominee, even though he slumped midway into his screening. Is the Senate concerned whether he's medically fit for the tedious role of Minister of the Federal Republic, or that is in part of the Senate's responsibility?
Well, I think it is very usual. It is not new. He is a human being. He can't avoid the challenges of we can't avoid a challenge of health, more especially for somebody who is 66. It is very normal. It is very usual. I see no problem on confirming him as a minister of the Federal Capital of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. One. Secondly, he came into the chamber, and later on he regained his energy. He lost the energy. It is because of the stress. He was informed yesterday that he was appointed into the cabinet. He left Zaria to Kaduna, trying to put his papers together, go through SSS screening, code of conduct, rigorous and tight activities between yesterday and today. That is the reason why he lost up his energy. That is what really caused his slump. But he regained his conscience, and he continued as nothing happened. Therefore, I see no problem, or there is no problem for us to confirm him. I have the confidence that he can deliver. I know him when he is SSG. Even before he became SSG, he served as Chief of Staff to the Federal Capital Territory. We saw some sign of commitment, some sign of a higher level of intellectual capacity to deliver. There is no doubt he will add value to the Federal Executive Council and to the working of this government. We are looking forward to have a cabinet with people like him, a politician, a technocrat, highly disciplined personality. Go and view his past.
So the Senate yesterday stopped first-timers from vying for position of president and I think deputy Senate president. Did you vote in favor of that amendment?
Well, actually, there was no time in the history of the Senate, more especially within this dispensation from 1999 to date, where the first-timer can contest for the Senate president or deputy Senate president position. It is not in our book. There is a process. Maybe they retouch or we retouch that clause which gave or allowed first-timer for somebody who came from the House to the Senate. He is not a first-timer. He has a cognate experience of legislative experience. Then somebody, it is three categories. A senator who is a returning senator can contest the position of the Senate president or deputy Senate president. The second stage is somebody who came from the House of Representatives, who has cognate experience of the legislature, who served in the House, no matter how. Then the third stage, in accordance with our book, is a fresh senator who came freshly without an experience of a legislature. That one, as a post-timer, even before he was barred from contesting to the position of president and Senate president. Now, the controversy is, if you came to the Senate from the House, one, or you serve in the Senate, or you are serving in the Senate, but along the way, you left the Senate, either to join executive, or you encounter with probably like court or something else, then you leave the House before completion of your period. This is what the amendment of yesterday stopped them from imagining or contesting as Senate President or Deputy Senate President. But it is not a very big deal. It is very usual. It is usual routine. Each and every assembly used to amend its rule to have a smooth running of its affairs. It is something which we are very
distinguished
with.
Just for some clarity, help me understand it. Are you saying that as we speak now with this amendment, senators who perhaps came from the House of Reps, or it's their first time in the Senate, can such a person contest for president of the Senate?
You see, most of us who came from the House, like me, I have a legislative experience, 12 years legislative experience from the House of Representatives. I even served in the leadership of the House of Representatives twice as deputy minority leader. Yes, from the amendment of yesterday, I can't contest the position of the Senate President or Deputy Senate President. I was stopped from doing so. There is no problem in doing it. If a situation warrants that it happened that we want to contest, or there is something happened in the Senate drastically, we can easily change the
House rule,
the clause.
All right.
Yes.
So
it is
that
not
brings
something.
me-
It
that
is not
brings me
something
there.
tedious. You see, it is not a complex law like the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where you need to third of the Parliament, to third of the State Assembly, and you need Mr. President to sign the legislation. No, it is a simple majority. Therefore, we see no reason, and we don't care what happened yesterday, because it is not in our own book. What we are more concerned about is the situation of Nigerian of today. How our people are suffering, how our people are dying because of insecurity, how our economy is deteriorating each and every day. This is our concern. People are complaining. Let me take you back a little.
Leadership architecture of the Senate is also needed to be able to do your role and your responsibility as senator. But how do you react to the position of those who think that the amendment is a direct attempt to end the ambition of the former governor of Zamfara State, and perhaps others like yourself who might be eyeing the Senate presidency?
Okay, from the first place, I was among few people who started Yari's project to the end, and I am solidly behind Yari's Yari up to the end, and up to today I am with Yari, and I have no apology or regret on supporting Yari. And if the situation warrant again today, I will support Yari. Put it in your book. Then, secondly, there was no time from 13th June up to today. We as a group who supported Yari sit down and discuss anything Yari's ambition. It is past. We leave it. We are committed to those things that will promote unity, happiness of the senators, by implication Federal Republic of Nigeria. All it is hearsay, and we don't even care to respond. There was no time we held any meeting or we had any discussion with anybody on the leadership issue of the House or
Is it
of the
possible
Senate.
that this
You need to
conversation
understand
happened?
this.
Is it possible that this conversation happened without you knowing about it? Because for some weeks now, the news is rife about a possible impeachment of the Senate president, and there are some who would even say
I don't
that.
know. Let me give you from my own understanding, as a ranking member in the National Assembly and as manager of the floor, as I told you that formerly I am a leader, there were some errors and mistakes committed by the leadership of the Senate when they assumed. Definitely there is exclusion, and where there is exclusion, definitely the end result is crisis. One. Secondly, there is winner takes all syndrome. But we are not complaining as a group. But here and there, some people are complaining. And people are trying to put words in our mouths. But from the time we finish the election, Akpabio emerged, we pledge our loyalty that we will support this administration to the end. Therefore, if somebody is doing something to undermine our group, He's doing it not on our behalf. He is doing it because of his thinking, but not Yari's group. As far as we concern, we are committed on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the rules, our operational guideline, which will help us to operate as members of the Senate, 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, naturally, Akpabio is a human being. The leadership are human beings. They are Nigeria. They can commit an offenses, or they will offend some of us in the process of the appointment of the leadership, the appointment of the committee and deputy chairman. They may likely offend some of us. But as I am speaking with you,
yes,
hello?
I hear you, but quickly, let me jump in and just tell you what some other groups are saying. I hear your point clearly, but for the Coalition for Parliamentary Democracy, they're asking the Senate President to step down. According to them, they are reporting that he's fallen out of favor with his colleagues in the Senate. My question to you precisely is, how much loyalty do you think Senator Akpabio and the current leadership of the Senate currently enjoys? And will you say you are one of those lawmakers who are loyal to him?
I am loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Put it in your record. I am loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Secondly, I am loyal to our operational guideline, Senate Standing Order 2022, as amended. I am loyal on that one. Therefore, anything came out of this, I am not on it, and I will not support it. Yes, you mentioned a group. I am not belong to that group. I even don't know who and who belong to that group. I belong to those who supported Yari's ambition to become Senate President. This is my position. And if situation allowed tomorrow, I will support Yari again. I have no apology and I have no regret on supporting Yari. But as for today, I don't have anything against Senate President, Deputy Senate President, or the leadership. We do our own best as politicians. We accept the outcome of the election. We are politicians. This is what we're supposed to do. But if somebody is not happy, stop. Please wait for me. If somebody is not happy with the leadership, let him go and ventilate his anger outside. But don't mention Yari or Yari's group. If I have my own issue, I will rise up and bring my own issue without hiding under any coalition. I am very frank and sincere person.
I hear you, distinguished. My question was, are you loyal to the current Senate leadership? And you answered by saying you're loyal to the Federal Republic and its constitution, to the House rule, and then you ended up saying you're loyal to Yari, which also packs a punch. Don't you think it's way too early to be discussing impeaching Mr. President at the Senate? If
nobody, nobody mentions the impeachment of the Senate President. Nobody. You cannot impeach the Senate President outside the chamber. And if you want to impeach the Senate President, you must come out clearly and say, we are going to impeach you. But nobody impeach or intend to impeach Senate President from his position or Deputy Senate President. We are supporting them. And let me tell you, I said that I am loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and our standing orders of the Senate. By implication, Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, and the leadership of the Senate came under our operational guideline and the Constitution. We deduce the standing orders from the Constitution. Therefore, if I said I am loyal to the orders and the Constitution, it means I am loyal to the Akpabio and his deputy. If Akpabio is following the Constitution, if Akpabio is following the our operational guideline, definitely I will continue following the Akpabios and his leadership. Nothing personal on this issue. But you asking me about the Yari. I told you that I supported Yari to the end. But as politician, I received the outcome, or we received the outcome of the election. We are defeated in the flow. It is the business of the leadership, those who emerge as the leaders, to engage us in their activity or no. But since we pledge our loyalty to them in the flow of the house, and we agree to work with them, we will continue doing it. If for any reason there was an impeachment process anywhere in Yari's group, I must be informed.
All right.
I must be informed about it.
I hear you, Senator. You're saying that it's not possible to impeach the Senate president from outside. And you're saying you do
I am
not
not saying, no, I am not saying it is not possible. Go to our standing orders and the Constitution. The Senate President, it's not impossible for the Senate to remove Senate President or Deputy Senate President. He can be impeached by the 2/3 majority of the Senate. National,
all right, let me get your thoughts.
It's impossible in democracy.
Let me get your thoughts on this.
But we are not interested on his job.
I hear you. Because we are hearing from the Senate.
We are not interested on his job. And you see, it is normal. Go into history. David Mark bas George Okume. Saraki bas Ahmed Lawal. Ahmed Lawal bas Muhammad Ali Dume. Of course, now Akpabio bas Yari. There was no impeachment order against anybody. But it is natural as politicians, we must exercise our constitutional right. Yes, Yari came out that he want to be a Senate President. Akpabio came out. Therefore, we choose to go with Yari. Doesn't mean that we hate Akpabio. He has a capacity, he has the ability, but it is a game of interest. And it is a constitutional representation. I am representing an interest. I am always going, I am always thinking the way my constituents are thinking. Therefore, the heartbeat of my constituent, it support Yari, and I supported Yari to the end.
All right,
therefore,
so
there is nothing like, it is very normal in a democracy to have a choice. I have my choice.
And your colleagues at this critical time, what would you say to the current leader of? I'm saying Nigerians are counting on you and your colleagues at this critical time. I'm wondering what advice you have for the current Senate leadership to be able to do its job without all of these seeming internal division that is taking the attention away from the primary business of lawmaking.
This is the best question you're supposed to ask me. This is the best question. Nigeria, we are in trial time. How can we exit from this trial moment? And how can Senate leadership partner with the membership of the Senate and critical stakeholders to make Nigeria great again? I am happy with this question. It is through inclusiveness. Let us work as one. We must in any way block any chance where suspicion will enter our rank. Let us think together. Let us believe that our country is going, or our people, those who elected us into this position, are in serious and in very critical condition and situation. How can we do our own best to take them out from this quagmire, economic, security, social challenges, moral decadence, and this is what we are after. We will achieve it if the leadership of the Senate stick on the Constitution and the provision of our operational guidelines. We must make sure that we observe the characteristic of good governance, accountability, transparency, openness, justice, equity, effective and efficiency in the selection of the officers who will run the different offices in the Senate.
All right.
I assure you, when you do it this way, we will achieve it. partner
our
with
time.
the executive,
Yes.
constructive engagement. Let us
All right.
see where the executive are looking for our input. Let us partner them on anything which
We're
will
looking
help
forward to
Nigeria
that.
or
Distinguished,
make Nigerians to be
Senator,
happy.
I'm afraid that's our
Well,
time.
let us.
And I'm sure that
Hello?
we're going to find time. I'm sure we'll find time to continue this conversation subsequently, but that's our time. Distinguished Senator representing Kano South Senatorial District is also Deputy Chairman, Senate Committee on Navy, ICT and Cybercrime. Senator Kwara Sumaila, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.